and welcome once again to Ghost Reviews. I am your host, Ghost, and I will be giving you commentary on this current speeddraw of yet another clown. So sit back, relax, and allow me to ramble on about my thoughts and some background about this clown. Next one in the clown collection. Anyway, yeah, so let's get into some history. Or some background. It's rather background. Yeah. So this clown, Nikki, is by far the easiest to draw out of the entire group of clowns that I have created. I mean, she is a mime, so that means I couldn't add a lot of color even if I wanted to. If I wanted to stick with the original mime idea, of course. Because every single other mime that I have come across during my research, they had mainly red, black, and white. And of course, the black and white stripes was a big thing and a big theme throughout all the characters. And the red, I kind of didn't want to add too much because red and purple does clash a little bit if they're touching each other. So, yeah, that's kind of a fun tip for you guys. The other idea that I had with Nikki was actually to go completely black with her outfit, like the Mime Girl in an Extreme Goofy movie. But then I thought that it would have been too boring next to the other super colorful clowns, so I decided against that. Nikki was also, strangely enough, the first clown character that I did decide to draw. And that was also the first character that I drew using my drawing tablet. You might have also noticed that she, just like June from my fantasy series or Casey from my Merryweather apartment series, is a bit on the, shall we say, thicker side, but with two C's. I mean, I like adding more meat on my characters, especially the ones I identify with, so yeah. And as an artist, I probably shouldn't be creating self-insert characters for myself, but why not? I technically am allowed to draw whatever I feel like, and there's nothing you guys can do to stop me. No, I'm just kidding, but it is fun to create whatever I want, I'll admit that. The very first character I created was actually a self-insert character. Back to the current drawing, the mime idea. Now, the mime idea itself was actually very intriguing for me. Not the fact that they always have to do charades instead of talking like, oh no, I'm playing the piano, I'm trapped in a box, I like the fact that they couldn't speak. They weren't allowed to speak, right? And yeah, they have to be silent and they have to make obscure gestures, but to me, it's kind of the idea of being forced to keep silent, Just like all the other clown characters, I told you that most of them are traumatized. Isaac was the first traumatized one. Clyde, he doesn't speak, mostly. And Nikki, she can't speak. Of course, mimes don't talk and they have to make obscure gestures, but with Nikki specifically, I think I decided to make her deaf. She would then have to, of course, know sign language, and that is actually one of the biggest skills that I would have loved to learn. I know a few of them, but after learning the gesture for T, I decided against it and went on to learning French. I'm struggling, by the way. If there are any tips, please let me know. No. But if Nicholas from Gangsta could do it, then this girl can definitely do it. She knows hand signs. She has to. She's a mime. But I am getting sidetracked again. What I really mean is that I wanted to create a character who was traumatized enough to fall silent, learn sign language, and join a circus. Of course, I don't know what the trauma would have been, but I mean, this is fantasy. I didn't think, well, it's not really fantasy. It's make believe, it's fiction, it's not real. So, I could think about it at a later time. It probably won't do much harm. But anyway, let's get into the drawing itself. Yay! Okay, so when I was creating the other clowns in the series, I mainly decided to stick with like completely black backgrounds and paint blotches and stuff. And it worked for the first few times. In fact, even the last one I did. But after a while of doing the same thing over and over again, monotony starts to set in and you get bored. So, I wanted to try something new. I'm just super glad that there was a picture in my reference folder that depicted a mime clown, and it had this cool, like, purple reddish background thing that I wanted to recreate. And yeah, I thought it would fit with this clown because she already had purple and red in her outfit, so I thought, that's the best thing, let's go for it. And then I also wanted to test out the shiny floor background vibe thing. I don't know, I learned that some time ago when I was learning how to draw glasses, but I think it came out okay. I hope. I don't know, the final product kind of came out. Her own color palette was also changed up a bit, since I didn't really want to give her the same dark purple as was seen with Isaac's outfit. So I brightened it up a little, and I brightened up the red a little, even though this color red and this color purple, these two shades don't mix that well. But the whole idea of clowns is that they are absurd, the colors don't mix, they look pathetic. Not mine. I hope mine don't look bad. Still. And I do think though, just like I did with Bart, I should probably lean towards a more blue-purple kind of hair color, but I don't wanna stray too much from the clown color palettes that I have come up with, so that probably won't happen. Maybe in the future, but we'll see. Her hat was also changed back to black, because her original idea was black, and then I changed it to red when I drew her for the first time, and now it is black again. I don't know, I think she can have a red and a black beret, because it both looks cute, but I'm not so sure that the red being in her face and in her hat is a good idea. But there might be something red that I have to add to like her waist or something, like a belt or a scarf, or maybe I could even give her a skirt or something, because a lot of the clowns had skirts in my references. But again, I'll probably have to think about it and see what comes up when I redesign her outfit. But I really don't want to do that because she looks okay. She looks cute. Yeah, she looks a bit disproportionate, but she looks cute, so. Mm. I must also admit, I really do love the mask I gave her. Yes, it is a mask. I cannot imagine any character having that kind of expression on their faces. Like, it's so little, it's so bland, but yet it kind of looks happy, kind of a creepy happy thing. Yeah, that's not her real face, guys. That's an actual mask. She's the only one who wears an actual mask. Which also kind of makes people wonder, what does her face look like? Or at least I hope you guys are wondering that, because I sure am. Oh no, but her idea was simple. And I think it looks okay, it looks neat. So it doesn't really give off that creepy clown vibe like the other clowns do, but it does kind of make me feel like there is something a little bit off about her. Like, what is she hiding beneath that mask? Is she happy? Is she sad? Angry? You don't know because you can't see her. And neither can I, because I see just as much as you can. But it does make her entire character design seem more simple. Even when in actuality it's not that easy. You have to remember the stripes. That's like the biggest problem I have. Having the same amount of stripes on the one side as it is on the other side. I could probably make the stripes thinner now that I think about it, but the thicker stripes just look, I don't know, authentic? Adding a mask is really actually a fun hack to help you create a character without having to spend hours on the facial design. So that face is her everyday face, when she's in the circus at least. I don't even know if these characters actually have natural hair colors beneath like their their obscure colors, but it seems like it is a common theme for me to give my characters strange hair colors. I do watch a lot of anime, so that is a huge influence, but I think with clowns they wear wigs. Yeah, can we all agree on that? They wear wigs. This isn't their original hair color, but hair dye is invented, so it might be. Yeah. Anyway, now for the fun part. Let's move on to the art tips. So, I'll admit, this drawing was one of the fastest ones that I have ever completed. You know, despite having like a ton of clipping layers and limited references. Why? Well, I already knew what she would look like, and I didn't have to completely redesign her look, just like, some of the other characters, like Dawn, that damn ringmaster. I am still super bummed out at how he turned out, but we move on, people. But yeah, that brings me to my first tip, which is, if you can't think of a background, use ombre effect. And this could either be of the colors that are already used, or, complementary colors. You can draw up a color wheel and find out that for yourself, or use like sites like, I think it's adobe.com or something, adobecolor.com. Yeah, I'm not sure. But then you can use those colors. It sounds super cheesy and possibly super lazy, but trust me, it works. Granted, it works best if you work with limited colors, just like here. Because if you have someone like Clyde, he has like red, yellow, green, blue, some other color, yeah. He's got a lot of colors, and if I was to create an ombre effect for him, it probably wouldn't have all of them in it, or it would look weird. Too much. Yeah. So probably use limited colors like the red and purple I used here. And yeah, don't get too overwhelmed. That's why usually characters don't have that much color in them, or have a limited colors, because too colorful characters can make it hard to design backgrounds or to make them blend into an environment or something. So yeah, and then when you do, if you do use the ombre effect, then place down the lighter color on the bottom layer almost completely to the bottom, right? Drag that to completely to the bottom and then work your way up. The second layer would be like more lighter layer until you, no, it's not a lighter, it'll be a darker layer, but moving more towards the color of your choosing, and probably black, because the ombre effect goes from super dark to super light, but you start with light and work your way to dark to kind of get the right effect going. Oh, that's a lot of explanation. Sorry, guys. On to the next tip. Use the Gaussian blur. I still don't know how to pronounce that word, but I'm writing it out for you guys so you guys can just read it and hopefully you understand what I mean. But yeah, this tip actually works best if your art isn't mostly 2D like mine, because it helps bring focus away from the background and onto the character or the centerpiece or whatever. It can be used in 2D characters, but it works best if there is a bit more 3D feel to it, a bit more focused 3D feel, if that makes sense to you guys. And all you gotta do is left click on the background layer and add filter, select the Gaussian blur, adjust it to a suitable blur consistency. Personally, I think anything between 10 and 20 must do the job or can do the job for you, but ultimately it is your choice. And now on to tip number 3, and also our last tip. Practice drawing the body from different perspectives. I know I've already told you guys that anatomy is key, but it really doesn't mean anything if you cannot apply what you've learned. That's why I decided to drop the portrait studies after messing up my last drawing and move on to full body characters in different dynamic poses, because people tend to like it if you put more effort into your art and don't just give people like a headshot, an emotionless headshot. But yeah, it does get repetitive, so we try to move away from that. And sure, it might not look like much to you, but when you are there to see how much effort I put in, or how much effort any artist put in to get the right proportions, then I'm sure you'd also be happy with the outcome. If something turns out good at the end, it is a success. If something doesn't turn out good, then it is a failure. Just like I think anything else in life. If you've studied hard and you think you've done everything that you could, then you should be happy with the marks that you get. If you're not, then you probably didn't put in a lot of effort. The exact same principle with every other job. But yeah, art is a rather long process after all. And artists have to be able to do everything by themselves, be that drawing proportionate bodies, drawing expressions, having steady hand for line art, using a correct blend of complementary colors. And then, of course, there's marketing. We've got quite a lot in our hands, and eventually, in the end, it's all worth it. But Usually we are quite hard on ourselves, so we don't really want a lot of people, telling us what we should have done, what would have looked better. I think artists themselves do a lot of research, so and they're moving at their own pace. Don't rush them because they're not rushing you. Hopefully, I don't know how other artists are. I'm kind of the only one I know. I have friends who also like art, but not in the same like genre, I want to say. Cuz the one of my friends, she likes drawing fantasy creatures, animals, more realism. The other friend that I have, she likes drawing also realism, but more kind of abstract realism. And then there's me drawing cartoon characters. So we're all different, and I cannot really ask them for references or for tips or anything because we are different, and that's also okay. Every artist is different, and as long as the artist is themselves loves what they create, then it is completely fine. Nobody else has to like it, but the artist has to. It's one of those things. But yeah, guys, that was my speedrun of Nikki, the mime girl of the clown group. An easy design and a pretty fun concept in general, for me at least. I think she would look even cuter if they made like a cute comic, a cartoon character out of her. I don't know, I really like her. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you have, please comment the clown emoji down below. I would be sure to check the comment section. Also be sure to check out my social media links in the description box to see the final product of this clown girl, and also to help support me on other platforms if you would like to. But that does bring me to the end of my video, so remember to take care of yourselves until I see you guys next time. Bye!